Hi, Jenny here. Today is Thursday, December 28th, and we're heading into the hospital to have staples removed, and the drain removed. So, should all be okay. I know once they see them in person, they'll know for sure, but I know on the phone they were saying they were concerned if I still have that redness around the staple area. They want to make sure it's not infected or anything, because otherwise they won't remove the staples in that area. But I think it looks pretty well healed. So, let's see my belly. So there it is. There's the red. But then we'll get that drain removed off on the side. But hopefully we counted them the other 35 staples will be removed. So I'll fill you in as we go. Hi, Jenny here. Oh, today is Friday, December. I'm going to put shadows in there now. December 29th. Woo, way down there. I don't know if this is backwards or not. Looks backwards to me. Anyways. Yeah. So as you see, I'm still laying down. I started a video yesterday. I had an appointment for going in to get my staples removed, which I did, so I'll put a picture in here of that. It was a process. It was a little bit of an ordeal. It all went well, really. It did, but silly me or not, I decided to take a tramadol in the morning at my 7 a.m. dosage time instead of just regular Tylenol, thinking that, well, I'm going to be having staples removed and a drain removed, hopefully, and maybe stitches removed. And so I wanted a little extra pain relief in my system, pain reliever, than just Tylenol. And I've been fine with tramadol. It's, I don't feel anything. Well, this time, granted, my stomach was hurting. Like I mentioned in one of the videos, maybe not that, my drain kind of stopped working on about Christmas Day. You might hear my stoma during this. I have no control over that, so if there's some background noise, I'm sorry. But that's my life right now. Anyways, so yeah, where the drain was the incision in my side, it was hurting. Kind of the night before, about 5 p.m., it kind of started hurting a little bit more than it usually had been. And I thought, well, once I get the drain out, then that would make that better. Granted, also because, the staples too, right? Because it's making my tummy tight. But, so I was, good to go in the morning. It was, process. I had to get some pants on and socks on and shoes on. And that, took some energy out of me. But got the chair leaned back in the van and, got in and had a nice laying down ride. It was very nice and comfortable again. Got to the hospital. We got a very close parking, like 2 spots away from the door. So angels were looking out for me. I so appreciate that. I also had put everything out to the universe as to how it was going to go yesterday, because I had a phone call the day before, and it was actually the nurse talking about the staples and how the redness area was and whether it may or may not be infected, and if it was, they were not going to take out the staples on that area. And depending on the drain and how that was going, granted it wasn't working, but whether they were maybe going to put another drain in or something, which I was like, oh, please no, just take everything out. But again, so I prayed that everything would go really well and that all the staples and stitches and the drain would come out and I would see everybody that I needed to see, but I could put it out to the universe that however it was going to go, it was going to go. So I said we got a really, prime parking spot. So, check one. They got us really nice and close, so that was awesome. Got in the office, checked in, and I just wasn't feeling well. I was actually feeling a little nauseous, a little woozy from the tramadol. Otherwise it was fine. So I'm like, okay. So I told Wayne, he's like, well, there's no place to lay down. I'm like, I will lay on the floor if need be. I mean, if I'm not feeling well, I don't care. So we went to this, one end of the waiting room, so there kind of really wasn't anybody around, and I did sit kind of sideways in a chair a little bit. There was a table right there too that was kind of higher up, so I could kind of lay my head a little bit on my arm. That was okay. But they called us back right away, which was so nice. And in the room, they had the exam table, so I asked if I could lay on that, and I did, and that felt better. So the nurse took my vitals. I was down 8 pounds. They did weigh me 8 pounds from the surgery, which I kind of figured. Like I said, I forgot to have them weigh me on the day I left the hospital. But from where I was when I went in for surgery to yesterday, it was 8 pounds down, which we figured. I could tell looking at my body. I'm down, so it's all right. Back to eating and building myself back up again. But in any case, the nurse left, and I actually just closed my eyes and rested, and almost fell asleep before the PA nurse kind of came and saw me and stuff. So I had a good 5-10 minutes, and that was enough. So I was afraid. I'm like, okay, Dad, please, I'm gonna take this nausea, take this feeling away in my stomach so I can be okay, which he did nicely again. I'm so grateful. So the main surgeon's PA came in, and he asked me how I was doing, how I was feeling, something about the drain wasn't working anymore and stuff. And so I talked about that a little bit of, pain, a little bit, of the ostomy, because that's kind of like more his part technically, of how, the ostomy is nice and pink and healthy, but because of the blood thinners I'm taking, when we clean the ostomy, then ends up bleeding a little bit, and we put the bag on, and then ends up kind of bleeding in the bag a little bit, but then it does stop. So he said too, that should be normal. Unless there's excessive bleeding, let him know, but otherwise that should, that's fine. And should all stop when I'm stopping the blood thinners. And then while we're talking and he was checking out the drain, then the nurse came in, who was the one for doing, I guess she was a plastic surgery nurse actually. So we're kind of done with the 1%. And then while, again, we're still talking, the wound care specialist guy came in. And so while the one was looking at the drain, then he said, let's look at the staples right away. So they did that, and the wound care guy, he goes, this is much better looking in person than it did in the photograph that I'd sent. And he goes, yeah, that's not infected at all. He's infected, just looks irritated. I'm like, yeah, my body's ready to have these staples out, everything. It's, it's done. So he said, yeah, all the staples can be removed. So okay, woo. So that was cool, and he left, and then we were pretty much done kind of talking to the one guy, and so then she wanted to look at the butt area and check that out, and so okay, even though they're kind of removable stitches, just sometimes they need a little help along, so she wanted to cut out what was still left there, which was fine. So she did that, and because she didn't need help, then the other PA could go, and so she took out, cut out the stitches, which that hurt just a little bit. But I guess that was fine. It was looking okay. And she went to the stomach and removed all the staples, and that was fine. Granted, I wasn't watching or anything. I was kind of looking up. So I could feel a little bit of pressure. I could feel where she was taking them out. And Wayne and I had counted the other day. There were 35 staples. So it was kind of like, I was going to be like, oh, how long is this going to go? But she was just zipping along and taking them out. And like I said, a little bit of pressure, but otherwise it was not painful. So that was, again, super awesome. There were probably about 3, maybe 4 staples I could tell that were sticking a little bit, that she kind of had to wiggle a little or something. But she got those out. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, man, that went faster than I expected. So that was nice. And then she put some steri strips on top of that just to kind of keep that, clean and together for, again, a couple more days type of thing. She said those will probably fall off in the shower in, a couple days. So that's all right. And then she talked about the drain and said, well, the drain's not really working. My last measurement that we got out of there was like 70 milliliters. She said they really don't like to remove the drain until it's like 30, because at that point the body can really reabsorb the fluid and be okay. She asked if I was having a lot of drainage output out the butt, and I said no, not a lot. There's just a little bit, but so this drain tube that went in my side did go all the way down to my butt. And so I guess that's where it was taking the fluid off of. And so she said that, so that maybe like my stomach may get a little bloated, and or if I have a lot of fluid coming out the butt, and if I'm like going through 5 pads or something, that then I need to call them, and they may need to stick a tube up me and drain some fluid. So again, praying to the universe that, it's all going to go okay. My body's going to do what it needs to do and reabsorb that fluid and, I don't know, get it out of urine or do whatever out. But that'll be fine. But because of my not having been so low on the drainage output, I'm still on bed rest, on couch rest for at least another week and a half. So I have another appointment to see her on the 8th. And so I am still not to be sitting. She says, and then when we do have you sitting, it's basically going to be like half an hour at a time, a couple times a day. And, for a couple days, or then we'll, go up to an hour a day, a couple times a day, which I kind of figured that they'd kind of, do it slowly so that, again, the healing part doesn't come apart or whatever. So then she went back down to the butt area and looked at it some more and stuff and said, yeah, it was healing really well. There was just a little bit of separation, so whether it either just didn't heal or whether it somehow came apart a little bit, because again, I've been very careful about how I'm not sitting. I am laying down, but on either side of the flap, it's a little bit apart from the skin, I guess. And so they want that to heal a little more. So then she showed Wayne how to put a dressing in there and kind of pack it in just a little bit in the little bit of the valley. I guess it's less than a quarter of an inch, 1/8 of an inch or something. So it's really not bad. And she was very pleased with that and said that seems pretty normal. It's very good. I'm doing a really good job at everything I'm doing. So yay, because as per usual, it's just in any day in life, right? You have your days where you feel you're doing pretty good and you have energy, and then there are other days that resting is what you can do. And both are important. Realizing that. Even though I feel down, I get a little discouraged on myself and, I'll cry. And my husband nicely keeps reminding me that I'm doing a fantastic job, as does my mom. And, and I think about all your prayers coming in again. And, all that helps. That help on this healing journey. So after all that was done, that was it. Then we came home. So I got to lay down again, have a nice luxury ride home. And then I pretty much laid on the couch. I, thought, I knew I'd have some pain afterwards of all that coming off, but I had more pain than I thought I would. And again, still having the tramadol in my system. So I took a nap for a couple hours and still just laid here. Even though I was thinking, maybe getting up and moving would also help fluids or whatever, but again, that also been since the 25th, already since the 28th. I've been moving as much as I can move during the day and stuff, and try to do as much as I can to keep things moving and healing. But then I also have my days where it's just like, I'm on the couch. And yesterday was that day. And then some tears on and off just because of my belly's still hurting. It hurts with the shirt on it, the shirt rubbing against it, and a little pain in the side where the drain came out. That I felt when she pulled out the drain. Like, I didn't feel the first drain they pulled out in the hospital, because that was short. That was just kind of under the abdomen. This one being so long. And she was pulling it out. At least she just kind of told me, take a deep breath, and blood doesn't blow. I'm like, I could feel it moving through my body and coming out. It was just like, it was a little painful, but just it felt goofy. I'm like, oh boy. So it was just weird, but so be it. It's out and it's good. And that's about it. So yeah, it was, like I said, it was a little more of a process. When the doctors came in on that too, I felt better by the point in time that they had come in, that the tramadol had kind of, not worn off, but I felt better. So I don't know if I said that or not. Maybe I did. I said again, so Dad did another check. Got us a close parking spot, got us called back fast so I could lay down, made me feel better, got everything off of me, check. So yeah, all the staples, all the drains, the stitches, everything is out. So again, it's still just a matter of healing. And yeah, we'll go from there. I had my last antibiotic today. I still have 7 more shots. So looking forward to being done with those. And yeah, just doing regular Tylenol for the painkiller, still every 6 hours at the moment. We'll see maybe in another week that I can kind of stop that and just take it when I need it. But for the amount of pain, I'm still just going to keep up with that for a little while. But that's it for me for today. That was my staple removal journey. So, again, thank you for following along with us. Thank you for leaving me, hints and comments down below. I appreciate that. I appreciate all your prayers. Again, as I said, as I'm feeling icky laying here and whatnot, I really do. I think about you guys all praying for me, and I pull all the prayers and love out of the system when I cover, my body with them, and it really does help. So again, I so appreciate that. I hope you are all feeling well. You guys, keep it positive. Go make it a great day. Bye-bye.